AskVet is a world leader in virtual pet care. Now, more than 500,000 pet owners consult the AI-driven engagement platform. And with me is Cal Lai, who is the CEO and chairman of the board of AskVet, to explain more about this. So, Cal, I was reading about this and I was like, what an ingenious idea. We've had telemedicine become such a huge thing during the pandemic, and it's only common sense that we would have vet care as well. So can you tell me a little bit about what led you to create this company and enter this space?
Yeah, thanks, Jane, for having me on the show. I really appreciate it. I think that the concept really started in a very simple way. There are two real data points. One is I've been a pet owner my whole life. And, the veterinary experience has not been a terrific one from a consumer point of view. You have to call, make an appointment, wait in line. You can imagine both with COVID and the tremendous adoption of pets during the last year and a half that appointments are hard to come by. We have always had a shortage of veterinarians in this country. I think the dramatic increase in animal ownership has really exacerbated that problem. So getting an appointment, unless you have an emergency visit, could take weeks. And it really frustrates a lot of pet owners. So, as a pet owner, I found appointments hard to come by. I found that often I would go to the doctor, take my pet to the doctor, have several $100s worth of tests done, and nothing was wrong. And that was really frustrating to me that, nobody would pick up the phone and where I could ask some questions and say, do I need to come in now? How important is this? They don't have any capability to triage, right? So what they do is they leave that in the hands of the pet parent. And we're the last people who are both knowledgeable and skilled at making that decision. So what do 31 million of us do every month? We go to Google and we search. My dog is having diarrhea. What should I do? My dog is vomiting. What should I do? So we pack our animals up. We take time off from work. We head into the clinic. And 70% of the time, nothing is medically wrong. The diarrhea will resolve itself. The vomiting will resolve itself. It's not the result of a disease state. It's the result of something temporal. Right. And that's been borne out by we've had more than 650,000 consults in our time, and we've borne that out. And the second part of it is I'm really a big believer that lifestyle drives health outcomes. So this belief comes from a very, very personal place, right? So most of my life I was massively obese. I weighed about 335 pounds for most of my life. I weigh 135 pounds right now. So I've lost about 200 pounds. So I was born very premature, and, the doctor said he's so little, he probably won't survive. And my parents and my grandparents said, no, he's going to survive. We're going to stick a bottle in his face until he gets bigger. So by the time I was 5 years old, I weighed 150 pounds. So I was the fat kid throughout all of school. I was a very overweight adult. I spent most of my adult life between 250 and 335 pounds. I go to the doctor and he'd say, God, Cal, you got to lose weight or you're going to die. You're just so morbidly obese. And I'd say, God, doc, believe me, it's been the bane of my entire life. How do I do this? And they'd say, you just got to eat less and exercise more. And I'm like, that's not helpful. Right? Of course I know that, but how do I implement that into my lifestyle? So I learned how to implement that for myself and my lifestyle. So I do a number of things. I'm a ketogenic dieter. I eat intermittent fast. I only eat for 8 hours a day. I have every disease known to man that comes about from being obese. I have hyperlipidemia. I'm diabetic. I have high blood pressure. I had lifelong gout. I had a knee replacement, a kidney transplant because my lifelong gout and diabetes destroyed my kidneys. So I had to figure out a way to get through this health crisis and really reset who I was. And I realized that it was about changing my lifestyle that really drove. If you look at me today, I lost 200 pounds. My blood work's completely normal. My A1C is under 6. I'm a normal person. All of those bad things that I had previously as a result of my being overweight went away. All because I was able to craft a lifestyle customized to me that I could make work. Well, I also realized that as a pet owner, it applied to my pets too. And they don't drive their lifestyle. I drive their lifestyle. So what I really wanted to do was create a way for pet parents to drive a healthy lifestyle for their pets, to avoid the pain, suffering that comes with neglect and time. So we all know our pets live longer, live healthier if they live well every day. So I wanted to create, like I did for myself, an app that walk parents through a process, a workflow to essentially maintain and keep a pet healthy throughout its lifetime.
Okay. Well, what an amazing story. And congratulations for keeping that weight off. I mean, that's the hard part. And, when you're so busy and you're running a company and you just want to eat and, so congratulations. It's amazing. So you mentioned during the pandemic, there were so many pet adoptions. And I remember doing stories on no pets available and things like that. So that is one trend, I assume, driving the pet care market. What are some other things that are relevant to the pet care market right now?
I think what's really relevant is it's an enormous market, right? It's a $100 billion market. It's going to triple by 2050. And it's very ripe for disruption because the market is stuck in the 1950s. Modern veterinary care as we know it started right after World War II. And it's always the same model. You have a problem, you go to the doctor. And even on our human health, we don't really have healthcare in the United States. We have sick care. You see a problem presents itself, you go. But really, we all know that if we lived better lives, lived healthier lives, and we don't know what that means, we could actually live healthier, get sick less, avoid all the chronic ailments that come with time and neglect, and ultimately live longer. So it's all about that whole thing about creating this critical mass around behaving in a certain way every day. Now, interestingly enough, millennials represent the bulk of the spend in pet care. They're between the ages of 25 and 42, starting families. 70% of all millennials have pets, and they really care about taking care of their pets' health just as they do for themselves. So if you think about most millennials, they are very proactive, not reactive, in terms of creating a healthy lifestyle. They eat a certain way, they have a certain strategy towards exercise, and they want the exact same thing for their pets. Why? Because they see their pets as not like their children, as their children.
Oh, yeah.
So that's a huge difference, right? So I think what really happened was the market and the desires of the bulk of the pet owners changed. I think people started to turn their back on this very antiquated way of doing business, just come into the clinic and get supported. That really has to change. And on the human side, that's changed dramatically with the passage of ACA, right? Because they added 30 million people roughly to the insurance rolls and didn't add a single waiting room, hospital, any of those things. So they had to figure out ways to essentially create tiered service delivery for the human side.
Yeah, interesting. So where are you with financing, and what kind of plans do you have for the future for AskVet?
That's a great question. Our goal is to become the dominant player in the virtual part of animal health. We already are. We're the largest in the world. We see between 1,000 and 1,500 pet parents every day. And that number is growing dramatically. We're actually really moving towards a direct consumer model where we offer a virtual care program, a virtual health and wellness program through the AskVet app. You pay $30 a month, and for that we send you diagnostic tools, blood kits, urine tests, fecal tests at home. Some of these are being rolled out as we speak. What you can do now is take those tests and have a plan constructed, as I said, utilizing our AI engine and our doctors specifically for your pet and your pet's needs. So we launched this in just several months ago. In our first 6 weeks, we had over 1,200 members sign up and subscribe. In that time, those members had nearly 3,600 engagements with our veterinarians and our system. They're tremendously satisfied. They give us 4.9 out of 5-star ratings. So what we're doing now is we have a 2-stage financing. We have a mezzanine round towards a very large Series A round that we hope to close later this year. We're actively raising a mezzanine round of $5 million to essentially propel our growth on the direct consumer side. So by the end of the year, our plan is to have 10,000 members paying $30 per month, and by the end of 2021, with that Series A raise at the end of this year, the end of 2022, we hope to have 200,000 members paying a $30 a month subscription.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. What a fascinating story that led you to the company, and I think something certainly needed in society. So appreciate your time, Cal. Best of luck, and look forward to updates.
Thank you, Jane. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.